Welcome, everyone, to Campaigns and Concoctions, where we are a bunch of triumphant travelers who like to drink and play TTRPGs. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this adventure of cooperative storytelling and crafting cocktails. Thank you, Nate, for making our slogan even better. Look at there back there. You can see it right now. You can see everything. That is our banner for Comic-Con. We're going to have some of this great merch for sale. Hopefully everything's going to be going well. But thank you as always for joining us on this adventure of cooperative storytelling and crafting cocktails. As always, if you would like to interact with us in a more engaging way, please click all the links below. Point.
Code. It's probably a little blurry, but give it a shot.
It might be a tough one, but Nate, just send me that QR code so we can put it on shit.
It's in the Google Drive.
Awesome. We've got all the things. We've got all the things, y'all. I'm super excited. That's a perfect segue in. When you are hearing this on the 15th of September, days math good. You are less than 1 week away to come see us at Mesa County Comic Con and Grand Junction, Colorado. September 20th and 21st, and we will be in the Grand Junction Convention Center. And there's a lot of really cool. I randomly ran into one of the other exhibitors, and they're hosting a panel, and they go to the same barber as me. So, random places. So super excited for all that kind of stuff. Anyone else got any updates that they would like to share? Any shout outs?
Yeah. Green Mountain Brewery has their Oktoberfest was this weekend. It's going to be rolling for a while. They had 4 guest Martzens on tap. I'm yelling, aren't I? A little bit. They had 4 guest Martzens on tap, and by far, the Green Mountain Brewery Martzen is the best. So if you want an Oktoberfest beer, get your ass out to Green Mountain Brewery and drink a beer that's full of gluten that you're not allowed to have, Jared. I'm sorry. It's that time of year.
That's probably my favorite style of beer.
It's the best. It's kind of the best.
Good. Sorry, I didn't do due diligence. The cornbread has wheat in it.
Good. That's why I brought these. Right?
Yeah. Good job, bud.
We're an older family, so the shit is hitting the fan.
We're all adjusting to Jared being
At 4 o'clock this morning, I got out of bed and laid on the floor, hoping that alleviate my back pain.
Feel that.
Sounds real.
Yep.
All right, guys. If there's nothing else, what are we drinking?
You're up. All right. So we got Matt's 3-part gin cocktail number 35.
And it's a banger, as per usual.
This one's pretty good.
I got a name. The Savant.
You just heard the name. Matt's 3-part gin cocktail number 35.
And the Savant, because this asshole just takes 3 things, puts it in a glass, and it's delicious. I tried to do the same thing, and now there's 14 different things in this glass, and it still tastes like shit. So this one's called the Failure. Let's continue with the Savant.
Anyway, 2 ounces of the Empress Cucumber Lemon Gin. Yes, lemon. I keep saying lime. An ounce of Italicus, an ounce of Amaro Nonino. I think you all know the drill at this point. You shake it, or stir it, and you put it in a coupe.
And it tastes so fucking good.
It's
Citrus not included.
Yeah.
Soon to be
Yeah,
a t-shirt.
citrus sold separately.
And by soon, we mean the Microsoft version of soon, eventually.
Yeah. Probably August. Not August 2025.
There it
but
is.
August.
Yeah.
Check out that coupe.
We're ready for August.
Look at that. So I also made a drink. This is an Angel Face. It's a classic cocktail. 3 parts. It's equal parts. 1 part gin, 1 part apple brandy, 1 part apricot liqueur, stirred and then strained into a coupe. Thank you, Anders Eriksson, for recommending this on your channel. It is absolutely amazing. I actually have found that I like this with the cheaper gin. So I was using Roku on Friday night, which was delicious. But I think the House Family Gin is just that much better with this. It really lets the apricot and the apple sing.
Because Roku is super, super expensive.
Well, that was a gift, and it's delicious.
But I don't disagree with your opinion on those 2 gins.
Yeah.
You're right. Roku is just really good. It punches above its weight. It's so good.
Yeah.
I feel like Roku is perfect if you're making like martinis.
Yes, it's very clean.
This is a riff on an angel face. It is, what did I do? An ounce of the Woods Aspen barrel rested gin,
Mm-hmm.
3/4 of Luxardo apricot,
Mm-hmm.
half an ounce of Applejack 86, and a 1/4 ounce of an apple liqueur that I forget the name of.
It's German.
Baron,
No.
it's Baron something. It's not Baron Yager. It's Baron.
Anyways, German apple liqueur and stirred and poured into it. It's fantastic.
You're correct.
I know.
That one.
Baron's, I don't know. It's in Discord.
It's in Discord.
Morgan,
All right, Curtis, are you going to share what you're drinking?
I have a question for you, Morgan. The Angel Face, is that a old cocktail? That's
Yes,
my
it
question.
is.
And the reason I asked that is because it has apricot liqueur in there. And I think like the modern cocktails are sleeping on apricot liqueur because there is a lot of old cocktails with apricot liqueur in them that
Well,
doesn't
so-
exist anymore.
The Angel Face is actually from the Savoy cocktail book from the late 19th, early 20th century. And it actually calls originally for apricot brandy,
Mm-hmm.
but the Anders uses the liqueur, which I think is the better call.
Yeah.
With it.
Yeah, dude. Yum, yum. Yum, yum. I don't, my beverage is garbage. We're not talking about it. I started off with something that looked pretty. It's in the Discord. It doesn't taste good. I added like a bunch of other stuff, including OFTD and
We couldn't fix the drink with overproof rum, so
Yeah.
it's not worth talking about. That's where we're at with it. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
We tried, family. We tried, but if just turning it into 151 doesn't work,
Just drink it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink it. It's,
yeah,
it's
we're
fine.
drinking it.
It's just not worth making again.
All right. Any alibis? Anything we got before we roll into the gameplay?
I don't think so.
Let's kick ass and chew bubble gum, and we're all out of gum.
Yeah, no, I got nothing.
All right. The last time that we met was the discussions that were had over the reconciliation of Skjald's stuff. Also, send John some healing energy. He's not feeling well. That's why he's not with us right now. But as Skald and the rest of the party began to kind of reconcile the repercussions of everything that has happened over the last couple months, specifically the stuff around him and Delilah and kind of the realities of his life coming together, the party returned to the city of Coulter, to Iskarian, where Sarc had some things that he needed to take care of. Yes?
I'm gonna stop myself. Sorry. I'll say it when you're done.
Thank you. There was a movement with Sarc, Patrice, and Sid to return to Tamir Al-Kanan to ask about some information about a book that Sarc had brought and some of the flowers that were associated with it. And we left with an image of Sarc floating above what everyone assumed to be a joke crystal ball. What do you have, Curtis, before we roll into this thing?
We leveled up.
Didn't we talk about? We did that on camera, right?
Okay, no, we didn't do it on the camera.
Okay.
We'll do it afterwards.
So we all leveled up to level 12, right?
Yes.
Yes, I definitely remembered I needed to level up my character.
Hi guys.
Me too.
It's fairly common for the couple that is Matt and Becca for one of them to forget to do level up shit.
Normally, it's not me though. Well, she doesn't listen to the podcast, guys. It's fine.
Part of the reason that she doesn't level up is that she's like, I don't want to do this shit outside of game time. I don't want to think that hard. The queen of the backstory. Oh my God.
There's not a whole lot sometimes.
I should get her permission to post her backstories in the Discord server and have everyone go, oh my God. So, as Patrice, Sid, and Sarc look up, You see Sarc, a younger, more clean version of Sarc. I mean, young is relative considering that he is an unchanging machine. But you also see an image that has... The image seems to have age to it. I can't really describe it. It's at first fuzzy. There's kind of these lines that they both go horizontal, and then the whole line moves vertical as a group of lines, and then eventually it clears up. And you see a courtyard with a fountain. You also notice the somewhat devolved Eldrin moving about, and interspersed with them are multiple machines that are very similar to Sarc. What you see is as Sarc is moving, it's almost like the perspective is swinging around him. You notice on his right side, you were looking initially at his left, and you see a smallish Eldrin woman and 2 children walking next to him. At first, you're not quite sure what is happening. You watch as a light that you've never seen before kind of flashes around out of what is Sarc's mouth. And then you watch as her mouth begins to move in response. And at first you're not quite sure what is happening, but then eventually the audio, the sound begins to kick in. And you hear a discussion just about typical domestic life. Things that this woman would like Sarc to do, but it's not a command or a demand. It is a discussion. Sarc is... The voice is similar, but at the same time unfamiliar. There is less of a burden in his voice. He sounds more at ease. They continue to have a conversation about going to the market, about repairing some of the technology, which they say some words and in this they don't make sense to you. They seem to be describing everyday items, but the scope of it is so outside of the bounds of anything that you have seen or know about that, like you just can't even understand it. As they continue to walk, they kind of veer off to what that would be their right, and to a hallway that slowly opens up, and this perspective and viewpoint moves, and it moves behind them, and you see Sarc on the left, this smallish woman on the right, and then these 2 children just kind of dancing and running around, being children, right? They're probably about 7 and 5. They are approaching what looks to be kind of an outer balcony, and they kind of swing around, and the perspective changes, and as it looks up, you can see that they are in what appears to be a floating city. This beautiful Bespin-esque architecture, round softed whites and beiges, colored by rose and amber lights, and the sun as it begins to set is casting this gorgeous view. The rings of Librarth are still visible, so at least you know where you are, at least on the same planet. But as they turn and continue the conversation, all of a sudden, it's like a massive set of clouds cross the sun. And as the perspective shifts, and as this family turns and looks, you watch as something darkens the sky. And then all of a sudden, screams begin to assault your ears as you watch as Sarc, this woman, and the children almost float above the walkway as the perspective changes, and you watch as the horizon begins to rise up as this city begins to drop. You watch as Sarc reaches around, grabs the woman, grabs the children, and pulls them in and he begins to kind of contort himself in a way that almost begins to wrap himself around these three people. After a disturbingly long indeterminate time, you see a large white flash. Everything darkens, but you hear, about half a second later, a distinctive boom of an explosion, as what you assume is a city is hitting the ground. And you see kind of this almost like this shrinking of white light into a black circle as it fades out. Tamir removes his hands from Sarc's shoulders and returns back to his seat. He is visibly shaken, and he says, "This is only the second time I've been able to see this. I have never been able to pull this type of a memory off of an object like this before. You have some deep, repressed things that have been imparted into this, whatever it is that you're doing."
Sid and Patrice would just see like visibly crushed expression on Sarc's face, and fluid, something between like tree sap and motor oil, is starting to well up in the corner of his eyes. It's not going to break free because he physically can't, but there's still this, the body's need to express this emotion. And Sarc will look at Samir with one question. What were the clouds? What blotted out the sun?
Hold on, I gotta see how much he knows. Because this is like earth-shattering knowledge for all of you. He knows a fuck ton. That was an 18 on the die.
Ooh.
There are those of us who have delved deep into the history of this world. It is intricately tied in to the weave, to the manifestation of Druidism, to the fact that we have these things called gods. There was an event a couple millennia ago called the Cataclysm. I need all three of you guys to roll a history check for me, please.
Patrice got a 14.
Okay.
Sarc got an 18.
Okay.
History, flat 16.
Plus intelligence, if you have one.
No.
Okay.
16.
So for all three of you, it's the same. You have heard about it, and you know that it was the start of the Age of Arcana, which is when magic went all fucking wild. Scholars have attempted to figure out what caused this event. I think we just witnessed it. There was a group of scholars that I used to correspond with until within the last 20 years or so, they seem to have disappeared, all but one of them. He's an old friend. Maybe you've heard of him, the Lord Richter. We go back a ways. But none of us have ever been alive long enough to know what caused this event. It broke everything. Magic had to be retamed. Evolution completely shifted. I'm sure you've seen Eladrin. They've never looked like that. I don't know what darkened the sky. But usually, cataclysmic events like this are caused by the hubris of those who are living. And you detect, actually, Sarc, go ahead and make a quick insight check real quick.
$22.
Okay. You detect a hint of sadness. And, you know, I kind of picture Sarc as kind of, he looked directly at Tamir as he asked the question, but as the conversation, he kind of looks down and kind of fidgeting. And then he quickly looks up again and he sees the earnestness, the sadness, but he also sees age. Yes, Tamir is a tiefling. Tiefling usually only lasts, about 70, 80 years. But he has an inherent visual perspective of wisdom, like that you have seen only in the most ancient of elves, those who the non-standard elves, and you know this only because of who you work for, Sarc. There are elves who live longer than the typical 200 to 300 years, thousands of years. And the only other person who has that kind of personification of wisdom is the manager in his age. And he looks at you, Sarc, my child. There's more here. I humbly request that you leave this immensely personal tome with me. I need to know more. And you feel a hunger come out of him when he says need. He's like, I need to know more.
Sarc feels that, but a darker side kind of resonate inside of him because he's like, yeah, that's fine. I need one thing. I need the shadow. I need the clouds. Keep it until you can give me that.
I will find you. Don't call me.
Sarc will bow as deep as physically possible for him to do.
As you bow, Tamir stands up, and I need all three of you to make another insight check for me, please.
17 for Patrice.
Okay.
7 for Sid.
Okay.
24.
Sid, you are just overwhelmed by the emotions. You haven't felt these emotions in quite some time. You have done the typical soldier thing in that you have locked him away until you can complete that mission that you set out that have brought you out of the expanse. Patrice and Sarc, you notice that as he stands and he bows very deeply as well, he looks like he has almost wasted away a bit since the last time that you guys have seen him. He looks weak. Obviously, perceptions can be deceiving. He looks tired, a little bit frail. He kind of, as he reaches down after he bows and he grabs his goblet of wine. And as he takes his sip, there's a little shake to his hands. What are you guys doing?
Sarc will, when he stands back up, just be like, any Nine Brothers office, any contact of Richter's will get to me. Thank you for your time and your toil.
Oh, you work for him.
Do you have a problem with Lord Richter?
I have no problem. Lord Richter's my friend. I'm not talking about Lord Richter. This kind of whimsical smile reaches his face. I'm talking about my friend X. He's got another name, but I'm hesitant to say it. He doesn't like when other people know his name. He probably will get mad at you for just knowing his first initial, but I've known him for quite some time.
I see that he's got he's got a goblet of wine with him.
Mm-hmm.
Currently using to refresh himself. I from my pack I pull out a bottle of Malbec. That was my mom's favorite wine. So I'm gonna change my inventory a little bit to subtract one of those, and be like, I thank you so much for providing the service for my friend. I know this may not be the greatest vintage, but it means a lot to me, and I hope you enjoy.
Don't leave quite yet. And he does the things that he does. You know, his fingers. There are 3 cups, or there are 3 goblets in front of you that none of you have drank. He kind of spins his finger, and you watch as the liquid kind of, and then you've never really noticed it before, but as with his hands, the claws, the talons that are that most tieflings keep down and they're extended. With him, he reaches around and he cuts the foil off, and he stabs the cork, and he pulls it out.
That was slick.
And he pours a little bit for everybody, and then he dumps out his wine, and he pours it, and he holds up his glass and he says, I thank you for the knowledge and the challenge that you have given me. I have not been this seduced by knowledge in quite some time. And this gift that means something so deeply to you is appreciated. I thank you all. And he has poured like a huge measure, and he just throws it back like it's nothing. And he's looking at you, expecting the 3 of you to drink.
Patrice does exactly what he does.
I was going to say, it'll be the first time that the 2 of them see Sarc do the same thing. Like, he sipped the first glass out of respect. This time he is like, yep, I'm just done. And he does that, bows, waits to see if he says anything else, and then stands up and turns around if he doesn't, and does like the boxer shoulder roll, and just walks out.
What are the other 2 of you doing?
We're taking care of our boy.
Sid, like, a little accentuated this time, gets up on her Warhammer, like embellishing her age. A little extra. Takes a sip. Samir, how do you keep doing this shit for so long?
Patrice has already left.
And Sid will kind of follow them out.
So as you are, so you kind of, you're parting the beads.
Yeah.
You hear a voice that cuts through you to the core, and he says, "You got to find the spice of life, friend. But spices can turn bitter in your mouth." And with that, he sits down heavily in his chair.
That's good.
Sark's currently moving through the city like Dustin moves through a crowd, just headed back for the ship.
Can Patrice catch him?
You need to describe that for the audience because most of the audience just sees a skull.
I'll use a better reference, mostly because I've been watching stuff recently. Like, Sark walks like he's built like Brock Lesnar, and just expects people to move out of the way.
That's hot. I like that.
And he is not afraid. If like people bump him, he just kind of stops, doesn't tilt his head, and you just see his eyes turn towards them. Like, go ahead.
Patrice double times it to catch up to his friend and just make sure he's okay and he's following along with him. He doesn't have anything to add. He just wants to make sure that he's with him, that he knows he's there.
Sid just, I think, is not trying to keep up. I don't think she's gonna even try. She'll like head that way, but kind of observe the city of culture. Keep an eye out. Is pondering what her spice of life is and what it should be.
What's your passive perception?
Oh, passive perception.
It's high.
It's high. 18.
Sid, as you kind of slowly follow those two, you're just kind of catching the details that you didn't see before the last time you were here. You guys were here like in very specific, trying to move quickly. There's a shabbiness to this place, right? Like they are very good at presenting themselves as this kind of upscale place away from others, but you can tell that behind that facade is a group of people who have been in their spaces for a very long time. There is an earnestness and a hunger in the eyes that follow you. It seems that there are quite a few people who are just interested in the idea of outsiders. Right? They may not get some people that are here a ton. And as you walk, it's subtle. But you feel the eyes, but they're not threatening. They're not surveilling. They're just curious, but exceptionally curious, above and beyond anything that you have experienced before, especially in the earnestness and the honesty. You feel, especially for you, a former special operator, you feel amazingly at home here. There is, even though they may not have had the same experience as you, there is a similarity to the people here. And you just feel that as you were walking by.
I think Sid slows down a little bit more. This is probably the closest to home she's felt since she left.
Honestly, it probably feels more like home than home, except for the only time that you would have felt more at home would be in the barracks on one of the posts there of the Cripsis legation. There is a weariness and a wornness that only certain types of people have. You know, merchants, travelers, soldiers, diplomats, right? People who have seen the world and have seen both the good and the bad, have had shit happen to them, right? There is both a joy and a sadness to them. And while you don't recognize why they feel that way, you recognize the feeling. Like, I picture you as I used to walk around new places at this point. Like, you were like, you're grabbing a copper and you're grabbing a little snack off the street cart, right? You have a little coffee now, and you're just kind of you've realized that Patrice is following them. They're making their way back to the ship. You're not really worried about them. You're just kind of experiencing this place. You know, you're for the first time in a very long time. Your hackles aren't up. You're not worried about getting snuck up on. There's so much that like you're just like outside of being on the Shirlene, which has its own like stressors.
Yeah.
Like you're just. Especially after the revelation and what you just saw, like things that were so outside the bounds of the norm.
I think Sid starts singing a little tune under her breath. What is home when you ain't got nothing left? When the world is on your shoulders? What is home when your friend ain't by your side? What is home? What is home? What is home?
Wow.
Jerry's playing next bar.
Awesome, dude. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was amazing. Awesome, man. Yeah, that sounds like something that we sing a lot. So yeah, totally cool. Yeah. So what else? So at this point, I'm assuming Sarc has made his way back to the ship. Patrice is struggling to keep up.
He may be struggling to keep shoulder to shoulder, but there's probably a wake that is very easy to follow behind Sarc.
Yeah. We will say that Skjald is somewhat hungover, probably for the first time ever.
I was supposed to be on distracting Skjald duties, so we're out on town.
Okay.
Out in the town.
They may have had to make their way back to the ship because Skald finally found bad fish.
Ooh, I
There
like
we go.
that. I
I
like
like that better. I like that better. So, as Sarc and Patrice are kind of shuffling, Skjald and Esaway are kind of returning, and as Skjald is puking his guts out from bad fish, is when Sid walks up, pastry and coffee in hand, singing that delicious tune, right? And that's where we're going to take our first break because that's like
choices in you.
that's where we're going to take our first break because that's a really good stopping point. So stick with us, family. We'll be right back after just a little bit of a break, and then we will go from here.
Whoa.
Welcome, everyone, back to Campaigns and Concoctions, where we have hit the point of cocktails like knots. If you can't tie a knot, tie a lot. So if you can't make a drink, pour a lot.
More than saying this, because I have given myself Stockholm Syndrome with the cocktail I made. It's probably not good, but I finally got it where it's drinkable. And we don't really
Basically, we're fighting in real life with this. We can't figure out how to put it in a drink. It tastes great on its own. You put it with anything, and we're like, that's wrong.
So I started with my Tiki Bitters Pegu Club riff, and then subbed that out for the orange liqueur. And now we've added, Fascia Bruto and rhubarb simple syrup.
Yeah.
And it's palatable. It's the name of this drink. It's palatable.
Barely palatable.
This is why I said in our group chat that it's always good times for a banquet.
Right.
I did something similar where I tried using it with 3 rums, and it still came out wrong.
Interesting.
So, Jared,
we can't
give us a good
drink.
drink.
151.
Okay, so this is called Miss Copperpots. It's 1.5. Well, Curtis kind of made this. This is a riff on something Curtis and I put
Same
together.
template.
Same template. It's 1.5 Joven Mezcal, a 1/2 ounce of rhubarb syrup, and a 1/4 ounce of lime juice. And the template has so far worked really well.
And I made one beverage for my friend Matt because he was sad about his drink. And I as I was making it, I was like, this is a Matt drink. And so it's 1.5 ounces of the faccia bruto,
Center
3/4. Yeah, the center bay specifically. Yeah, I keep forgetting that. You're correct. That's the green one. So the center bay means green.
Means
The
100 herb.
Yeah. So the Faccia Bruto Center Bay is 1.5 ounces and 3/4 of an ounce of Remy Martin cognac, and then 1/2 ounce of Baron Jager honey liqueur.
Can we call it monastic, Matt?
Hell yeah, we can. I'm putting it in the Discord right now. So if you want to see a picture of this drink and how delicious it is, yeah, go for it.
Let's go back a week in the Discord.
I have definitely been trying to remember the drinks that I had in my brain when I bought that bottle of cognac, because it's been sitting there and I can't remember what I made with it. So I got to figure that out. Oh, excuse me. All right, y'all. Any other cocktails that we need to discuss?
No.
All right. So at this point, everyone has returned back to the ship. Skjald has been ushered to sleepiness through whatever means is necessary because of the bad fish. I assume even Elle is awake at this point. And
Street meat, yes. Street sushi, no.
Sarc will have tried to find like a 4 foot or 5 foot tall log that's like 2 feet around, and just take it down to the citrus deck and go full on like Wing Chun, like it will be splinters when he is done meditating. And he is trying to figure out if his new black arm is going to stay or if he's going back to his original arm before he goes and hunts whatever the fuck the shadow was.
okay.
Meditating.
Uh-huh. Sarc's way.
Okay. What else is everyone doing?
That's why he's a little relieved that Sark's sick right now.
Skull.
Damn it.
Sarc is too, just in a very different way.
So where to, y'all? I look at Elle and I look at Sid and I look at SOA because Sarc is meditating. Percussive meditation.
I don't think Sid's probably quite made it back to the ship yet.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
you
then,
did before break.
Oh, okay.
As Skjald was
yeah, you were
trying
singing.
to relieve himself of the street sushi.
Oh, he was relieving himself of the street sushi. Very successful at it.
All I hear in my
I
head
swear it's
is...
prestidigitation. We're fine.
All I hear in my head is, that wasn't calamari.
What are we doing next?
Well, Sarc saw the apocalypse thousands of years ago that he was a part of.
There was an apocalypse thousands of years ago?
Yeah. Cataclysm, the great cataclysm that broke the magic, that broke the world. It seems like the remember those we talked about the ancestors to the Eladrin being kind of like in control of some automatons like Sarc, and we witnessed a vision of a city falling from the sky and exploding.
I just thought we were looking somewhere else. I didn't realize it happened in the past.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we go find where a city fell out of the sky a few thousand years ago?
I think we've already done that. I think that's what we're noticing. That's what we find in these ruins that are under the earth.
Sid, I need you to roll a history check for me, please.
Ah, something more con.
Remember, you can.
Hey,
There it is.
16. That work.
What is it?
16.
So, Sid, you had heard recently before you left Crypsis that there had been a group of adventurers recently that had gone to a place called the Desolation.
Yes, desolation. Yes.
which is very close to your home nation. The rumor mill was that they had found a crashed city.
Sarc.
Is that it for the rumor?
Unless you're in the.
This is the desolation.
It was a 16. I can't give too much.
No.
The desolation of
I
smug.
just want to make sure I'm
shit.
right. The desolation is where it's really hard to get into, right? Like it's kind
Yes.
of, yeah. I just want to make sure I had the right thing, man.
Unless you go to the citrus deck, you can't find Sarc.
Oh damn. Suck.
And Sarc is way away from where you enter the citrus deck, but you can hear him once you enter.
Well, I don't know if I know where he went.
You weren't there yet.
Yeah, you
Has-
weren't.
You might be able to ask people because he would have not been
to-
subtle going to it.
Is L around?
I mean,
Yeah.
5-foot log going to
Eh,
the citrus
and
deck.
I
you're-
think it's the four of us right now.
Okay.
He's probably having breakfast currently, but
It's 2 p.m.
Brunch. After brunch.
well, breakfast is the meal after you wake up.
That's fair.
We having
Can't
grits today,
Can't
Morgan?
miss it. Can't
Is,
miss it.
is
Break
grits being served?
That's great.
If we must.
I don't know. I went to Lucille's today, and it was just fucking so good.
I love Lucille's. I hate grits.
Oh, yeah, grits is not great.
Hey,
I'm on
El,
that one.
Platoon
can you
not
check
grits.
if the manager knows anything about the desolation near Crypsis?
Morgan, was there an office here?
Not here.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Well, when you have a chance.
Not right now, no.
We only had a talking stone. What are those called?
Sending stone.
Sending stone to Patrice, correct? Not to
Not to Patrice, but to Prosper.
Prosperin, and not to Lord Richter. God.
Yeah.
I mean, if you talk
Better
to
that
Prosper, you're probably going to talk to the Lord Richter. I mean,
Which is
So-
inside the medallion on Sarc.
That's my next question.
But
Who has it?
Sid didn't ask about that. You just asked
No,
about
I know, but that was the next thing. I was going to go both routes.
a couple of things that all of you would have just kind of intuitively known after the times that you guys have interacted with her. Prosperin is super powerful. There's not much that she probably can't do as a wizard. She's also super knowledgeable, having lived for a long time. And additionally, she is also like the daughter of one of the most powerful beings that have ever existed. So just things to remind you of as you're thinking about Prosper.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll check with
It's better
if
as
you
it
can
warms
check
up.
with. Oh my god, your organization.
9 brothers.
9 Brothers. If anyone has any information about a fallen city in the desolation,
Right?
when I find Sarc, we should ask the same about to Prosperin to see if we can gather more information. But I think I've heard of a fallen city before, or at least the rumor of one in the desolation near my home.
Okay, so we go find a fallen city, which means we need to head somewhere to an actual city where there's, an office. Also, why are we finding Sarc?
Because he has the sending stone to talk
Yeah,
to.
I know that part.
Because
Why is Sarc lost is the part.
he saw some
Oh.
shit.
I think he's on the boat. I just don't know where he is.
I saw him go downstairs, below deck.
Okay.
That doesn't really narrow it down. There's a lot of doors down there. We tried a few of them. Some of them are locked.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we go to the one that's not.
I mean, there's also other places than the doors downstairs, below deck. But if he's on the ship, then he's on the ship. He'll go wherever we end up going.
That is how ships work in my experience.
At least I assume that's how this one works too.
It's not been proven, that's for sure.
We haven't proven that it's not the case either, though.
That's right. Let's act as if, though.
I think we should head back to Tinkermere. I think it's the place where we can possibly gather the most information the quickest.
Isn't that the opposite side of the world from where you're talking about?
Yeah, I think we just go to the closest major city that would have an office.
In the direction of the place we want to go.
Sure.
So, like, I think we should head towards the desolation and hit the biggest city on the way. That's going to have a Nine Brothers installation.
So
Out of character,
Yeah.
we wanted to go back to the gate room at some point. Which gate room? Under Haven.
also, the desolation is about
Yeah,
6
it's a
months
long way away.
travel
Yeah.
by airship.
Yeah. It's a long way away. That's why I'm not going straight there because we got to make sure we're sure we want. Would
Did you say 6 months by airship?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
So,
That's why that was not my first recommendation because it's not close.
so
So we go to the closest city, whatever direction that happens
you're
to be.
from the other side of the planet?
Yeah, it took me like
Yeah, she told us when we met. It
Six-
was like 6 months to
6
get where
months.
we were.
I guess
Yeah.
geography is not my strong suit.
Out of character, like does
I have
Haven actually make
navigation
sense
tools.
here as a closer place to where Sid's from, but also we can get the Nine Brothers there?
So there's two options here for you guys. There is Haven, and then there is Talcabahad, which is the city where you guys went and had that excursion with the Mediocrity. So those are kind of like Talcabahad is probably the closest. It's about a day and a half's journey, but Haven's probably a week. So it's not like significantly far enough away that it would make a massive difference.
So if we had to talk about how that's closer, there's a lot more magic people there. Wizards can teleport. That's a thing.
Out of character, but you'd probably hear it. Skeld would want to go for all the street meat in Talcabahad. Despite him currently trying to vomit up everything in his stomach, he's like, street meat, let's go there.
All things being equal, new street meat.
Then
It's not new streaming. We've already been there.
we didn't spend a lot of time.
Yeah, we haven't had time to
I forgot that.
adequately sample street meat. We only spent a day.
I was going to say, I think we spent 2 nights there. Total.
Sid and Patrice, can I get you guys to make a history check real quick?
I'm going to use a sorcery point.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the same.
That's worse.
I'm doing the same. Also worse. Damn.
Morgan, I got a 5.
I got a 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Take that as you will. I'm going to mark off a sorcery point.
There is something that is nagging at the back of your head, both of you, about that vision. Like you feel that you saw something that should point out like a direction that you guys should go, but you can't make it out. There was something there, but there you can't grasp it. You can't hold on to it.
Maybe if we go... I'm just... Like, I feel... Maybe... Like...
Did you eat some bad fish too?
No. But, like...
I got something.
Yeah, like... Let's go talk to Sarc. Maybe he knows. Like, what you know? Like, maybe... I don't know. Yeah, let's talk about it. Sounds good.
Sarc,
Yes.
as you were meditating violently, which is now my favorite thing ever, violent
meditation.
For those of you who know me well, you understand that makes sense. Because you're violently meditating, I need you to roll a history check with advantage because you're kind of focusing and you're kind of in the Zen space where you're able to kind of focus on everything. If you would make a history check with advantage, please.
We could have rolled some 1s so we could have drank. Okay. Why did we roll these 2s and 3s and shit?
Yeah.
11.
God damn it, you motherfuckers.
I rolled a 9 and a 10 on the dice.
But I'm trying. I'm trying to give you guys direction. You know,
I'm trying to. Like, I'll put it this way. Like, the length of time that Sarc would be dwelling on it is the length of time it takes him to beat down a small redwood chunk, basically. Like, so he can come up when we get to Tilkabahad being like, I remembered something.
Elle is planning on having them run through the whole vision once we're in the air. He just wants to get moving before that.
Yeah, you very much in the same vein as Sid and Patrice, but you recognize it as something, as a place that the four of you or that the six of you have been. There's some sort of connecting thread of space.
The place that Sid's thinking of is
The in between.
no. I'm thinking of where you got your legs burned the shit out of for some reason.
Oh, that's right.
Underneath the Foreign Legion campground. So it'd be back in Tinkermere.
I'm gonna just go ahead and say no on that one.
Oh,
That's fine.
Gate. Honestly,
So
like
what idea
SOA is
I have-
not going to get there. I think it's the gate room, but SOA wasn't part of the vision.
Are you?
The gate
Hang on.
room takes us to
You're
different
there
planes
now,
of
though.
existence, though.
Yeah. That's also
Okay,
the
but-
idea I had. But
Out of character, just a mechanics question.
Yes.
Is there anything different with the newer arm for Sarc?
How are you doing this thing? Is it just your fists, or are you using other things?
He would be using fists, trying to channel some of his ki through it to try and feel it different. Very, if you've seen the Ip Man, when he's just working on the Wing Chun tower, minus the arms in the way, that's what he's doing. Is he's just going through motions that he's familiar with to try and.
There's branches on those trees in the orchard.
Roll a D100 for me, please.
He took a dead log down, so he didn't kill one of the very important citrus trees for all the organic people. 58.
So, as you're using it regularly right now, it feels normal. It doesn't feel like anything like spectacular, but you feel that there's something being left on the table. Like you're not sure exactly what it is, but there's potentiality with this new arm, but you can't figure it out yet.
Dusted.
Also, because you guys were doing like 17 things at once, and I love it. After SOA says the gate room, I need Sid and Patrice to roll another history check, please.
Do you think Sarc would just adopt something new because it has more potential,
Damn it.
or would he go back to?
hey, we still got 18.
You
Thanks,
deserve
Dice.
that.
Thanks, Dice, for being.
We're twinsies tonight. We roll shit, we roll 18s.
I rolled it twice in a row. One on the table, one
I think
off.
Sarc
One on
would
the table,
probably
one
stick
off.
with it. Elle would probably advise to keep it and try to find the potential for it.
Okay. Then we'll have to have that conversation because Sarc will come back and be like, "I want my whole arm," and have that discussion. So we'll do that in a moment.
Okay. As the two of you hear SOA say the gate room, something clicks. And you remember what you remember is seeing that is implanted into the walls as you watched Sarc and this woman walk is technology that you have seen before. And it is what you have seen every time you have gone underground, where you have experienced that ancient, quote unquote, ancient technology that is vastly superior than what you guys have seen.
Well, I said it earlier. I think we've kind of already been there. I think we've seen these underground. I think we've seen these fallen cities. I think that's what's.
I think we've been somewhere similar.
You think,
Yeah.
To
you think
whatever you
there's
all
more
saw,
than
though.
one, or
Well, we were. What was the name of the island that we got the
The things
residuum
we
from?
haven't been in have not. Things we've been in have not been cities.
Yeah, but
They've
when
barely
something
even been
falls from the
buildings.
sky and explodes and there's cataclysmic nature, like
But remember
Well-
that
Sid knows a city that fell. We found rooms.
these things are like places that don't make sense. Like they almost got teleported into where they are at. Like
Yeah.
one's like under a plateau and
Yeah,
one's
they may be
under...
similar, but that doesn't mean that's where we're going necessarily.
We're not saying going, but like if we could go to the gate room and the technology gives
maybe we could.
Sarc another flashback, or maybe there's more hints that we find. I mean, we've not really gone super deep into these things or lingered very long.
We also don't know where all of
Because
those
you guys
doors
keep dragging me
go.
the fuck out of them.
That is fair, El. That is a fair statement. You don't want to leave, and we make you, even when you burned yourself severely.
I wasn't dying.
Correct.
It was already done.
You're right. You're right. We made you leave. I'm pretty sure Sarc knocked you out so that we could leave.
Don't remember, but that sounds correct.
Not remembering is the knockout. So, yeah. Is it time to go home? Is it time to go home?
If we
I
need
look
one
at
of
SOA.
if we need one of those places, that's the best place for us to find one. I feel like we know where one is. We know where one is about a day away. Oh, no, never mind. That was residual.
Yeah.
I mean, we could stop and get some residual too. We might as well if we're going to Haven.
No, the one that was a day away was the Mediocrity, the city.
Tokabaha.
Talgabaha, yeah.
I was thinking about Residuum Island having some sort of precursor shit on it.
It did.
I was just assuming that Matt Slip was SOA in character.
That also works. I don't know. I feel like I'm supposed to be protecting our home and moving back. So
When's the last time we've been here?
I mean,
Captain Mackenzie?
we got killed a lot of things. That doesn't.
Hi, yeah, you gave me a holler. What's up?
We respectfully would like to set sail for Haven.
Oh man, familiar territory. Love it. We love it. We'll be there in a couple of days.
Sounds fantastic. Does Cookie or anybody else need anything before we ship off?
Oh no, we're good. We're in good shape. Don't worry about us. Every time we come to a port where there's a place to buy some shit, we buy some shit.
Oh, good. Because I'm looking forward to lunch.
Yeah, you should always look forward to
doing
lunch.
the job.
Cookie gonna take care of y'all.
All right, let's go.
Right. The ship has taken off and begins that kind of southward trajectory to hit the tropical zone that is Haven. It's about 8 days travel, about a week. As the six of you travel, is there anything that you guys would like to do? I know there was a conversation that needed to be had between Elle and Sarc.
I was probably going to annoy Sid and Patrice in how many times he has them go through that memory. Because he's approaching it pretty much the same way an interrogator would. Of he's going to have them go through multiple times in different order, get as much information as he can out of it.
Go ahead and roll an insight check, Elle, to see how much you get of it.
Ooh. Sarc would go through with it in his entirety after he's worked over his emotions too.
Still,
That's fine, but like that'll be part of the conversation.
That's a nat 20.
Hey!
Drink, motherfuckers! Drink, motherfuckers! Drink!
That's pretty noise.
Which brings that to a total of a whole 21.
Nice.
Does this make you feel better?
I thought about spraying.
you have a pretty good sense of what was said and what was seen in that event. With a natural 20, though, this is the fun part about being a DM is you get to decide when a natural 20 is a crit and when it isn't. So in this particular case, I think that we're going to give it a crit. So we'll give you a little bit of extra insight as you were thinking about this stuff.
Rules as written, just for information, share to our listeners. Natural 20s only count on attack rolls. Same
That's
with
right.
natural 1.
However, it's my game. I get to decide.
Yes, correct. This is why I'm saying rules as written.
Rules as Morgan say, this is more fun, and this is what we're doing.
This is what we're doing.
It's more dramatic. That's for fun.
Always wins.
But yeah, there's no critical success or fails on skill checks, technically.
Or saves.
Or saves.
Yep.
So one of the things that you get, Elle, from Sid and Patrice is the varying sizes of this shadow, right? But the one thing that you are able to get from it is that it is fucking massive. Like, it is not small. Like, it feels like the shadow from the alien ships in Independence Day, like that big.
Damn.
So over the course of it, at one point, as they're discussing it, I was gonna ask Sid, does this seem like it could have been the whole dragon thing you had?
Ooh, good question. Roll a just roll D100 for me, because
Me?
you said
Okay.
because I don't even know what kind of skill check that would be.
Nice.
77.
77 is a good number.
That is a good number.
It's a sexy number.
No, this does not feel like. So the thing with the dragons are that no matter what, they feel specifically organic in their movements. This did not feel like that, Sid.
Ooh, non-organic.
I don't think that the shadow didn't feel like it had like an organic movement to it. It felt like maybe something like, I don't know, best thing I think of something like you would make, like
a new edition.
have a
Calls out.
like something else made it, a construct or an experiment.
It's a cloud of hubris.
You're not wrong.
Al opens his mouth to say something and then clearly thinks better of it and shuts it.
Would you have been offended if Esley just is kind of attending all these interrogation sessions? Okay.
Nah.
She's working on a song about this.
I was pretty upfront about what he's doing and why he's having them go through it multiple times.
I mean, I don't feel like Sarc would have killed the log in a single day, so he may be spending the interrogation sessions away. But, do you want to roleplay? Because I have an idea in my head.
Sure.
Okay. So Sarc would come to you with, after the first night, and be like, fairly certain you heard some of what I saw, or what was displayed from Tamir.
It's been discussed.
In percussive meditation, this arm, and he shows you the new one that we found under Tinkermere, I haven't tapped into it fully. If I can. But in a strange sense, I almost want to return to my old arm.
I mean, we can. It's not that hard. But if that one's got more potential, then should probably try to use that. Especially if we're gonna go kill something that caused an apocalypse, I'm assuming. you're gonna want to be able to punch as hard as you can at that point. I can put the other one back on for now, and we can try again later. But
Sarc makes a deep, deep sigh and then pulls out the other black arm and the 2 black legs and goes, "All right, let's just go for it. Full tilt. We've got a week. Attach these."
and like the whole time, as soon as he says he wants his arm back, Elle's starting to lay out tools,
And the doom music kicks in.
Yeah, right.
So Stark would strip down, pull out from his bag of holding the arm and the 2 legs from the other stuff that he had, and be like, "All right, we got a week project, okay," and then just lay down on L's table.
All right. So we're going to need 3 dexterity checks with your proficiency, L, because you are going to be proficient in this, to see how well you attach the 3 other limbs to Sark's body.
Okay.
Oof.
That is a 22.
Okay. So that would be at what, the left or right arm?
Right arm. Right
Right
arm.
arm.
It's already connected.
No issues with that one.
You've already done arm.
Yeah, you know how to do an arm.
That would be 15 for one of the legs and
The left one.
8 for the other.
8 on the right leg.
So the left leg is a bit of a challenge. You struggle with it, but eventually you're able to successfully connect it. It was seriously one connection that you struggled with, that you didn't see just right, and eventually after walking away you come back and you see it. That right leg, there was something there you just couldn't see. You could not see it, and you could not attach it. You had to reattach L's original right leg. There's something going on right now where you just cannot seem to figure it out, why you cannot make the connections. Like, you can connect it so it's physically attached, but you're not making the connections for Sark to be able to move that leg. So you want to take a little bit of time off to kind of recenter yourself, think about it, and then do it. You're going to have to do it again at a later date.
Did this come from... Were these 2 legs from different bodies? What the hell's going on with this damn thing?
I don't remember.
Neither do I. We're going to try this one again once we actually get to Haven and I can use my warehouse that I've never actually seen rebuilt.
Oh, yeah. Did we pay somebody to fix that?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I paid a lot of money when we were still poor to have that.
Right.
Do you want to have me roll anything for... Because it'll basically be a daily exercise after this while he's attaching stuff to go down and try him out and do stuff. Or is it just...
Tell me what you're doing as you're attempting to try these things out.
He would go through forms that he's familiar with to do that kind of stuff, and then do like acrobatics and trying and move around to try and figure out if he's stiff or has to learn a new way to jump or land to try and get this stuff. I would say after the first couple of days, he would actually probably try and sit down and attune himself with that like resonance inside of himself to try and be like, okay, now that I'm not raging, how do these feel with this new weird sense that has been unlocked by delving into these spaces?
Totally awesome. Go ahead and roll an insight check for me, please.
I'm not proficient, but I'm a monk.
Go, monk, go.
23.
Hell yeah, monk.
After you get your second hand connected, or your second arm connected, you go do some violent meditation. And then you actually think that maybe it's time to actually maybe sit down and center yourself and to spend a little time trying to comprehend what is actually happening right now. As you sit down and you close everything off and you center in and you focus internally, you see something somewhat familiar. The descriptions of the astral sea pop up in your mind. This kind of constantly moving yet serene scape of almost clouds that is like almost a tube of clouds. And it just seems to center you and calm you. And as you sit there with your eyes closed, you feel some vibrations coming from your pockets. And your hands just kind of on their own move down to thoughts and prayers. And as you slide them on, you stand up and you go back to your violent meditation. And you now have +1 when you're wielding thoughts and prayers.
Oh, fuck. Oh, God. It's so hard with those right now.
I really just wanted you to put them on and beat the shit out of something, but...
So, for that, Sarc would use thoughts and prayers when he knows he needs an additional help. But if he's just trying to figure out his own body, he's not trying to do it.
That's fair. That's fair.
So like better at interfacing with other tech.
Mm-hmm.
So, mechanically, when they're used together already, they do an additional 1. It goes up from 1d4 to 1d6 damage when they hit. I'm going to put it in as when using them conjointly, they get an additional +1.
Yep.
Okay. Pop, pop.
Because what it is that these arms and legs come from a combat model.
Okay. Yeah, okay. He's also gonna find a sleeveless hooded shirt to go on under his jacket because he's going full bore Red Hood at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jason, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
your story arc might end up that way, but it may also be as disappointing as Red Hood's story. So
That's fine. Definitely not Nightwing at the moment. I'm out to murder some stuff.
Red Hood is the most interesting of the Robins, anyways.
That's fair.
That and Damien.
Oh, Damien's. Jeez.
Damien's fun. But yeah, anyways, moving on from fanfic to, okay. So he will limp along on his regular right leg for now and realize that it is the weaker of the two and probably have kindling by the time they arrive in Haven for the post that he set up in the citrus deck.
All right. Between taking off and returning to Haven, is there anything anyone else would like to do?
I think Patrice is going to continue to play his bone flute. He's gonna realize that he's probably at the equal, if not slightly above his teacher by this point.
With the bone flute?
No, just in general, in like his understanding of melody.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
We can compare our pluses, but I'm pretty sure mine's higher. But yeah. So I think he's been noodling around for quite a while, and he's noticing that this is one of the things that he's extremely good at, and he wants to lean into it, and so he's going to do that. Any moment he has that's not spent with his friends is learning his instrument. And that's not a euphemism for masturbating, y'all. Just let you know.
Patrice is also whacking it that entire week.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, I had you.
Sarc will probably on the afternoon, night before they hit Haven, when SOA comes up to relieve him from the crow's nest, as is their habit, hand her his flute that he's been carrying and tell her, like, I woke up with this. It should be played. And then never speak of it again.
What kind of flute is it?
Just a, like, wooden straight flute.
Like a Japanese style no flute, or more like a recorder? Because
no, it's
so
more
here.
of a recorder. It is definitely a
Okay.
wooden. It's more like a penny whistle. That kind of. It's
Yeah.
that almost like in our world, Bronze Age generic wood flute that is the world over kind of thing. It's something simple, straight, but it probably is of a wood you've never seen based on its age.
The next question I have is, does it look like Sarc made it?
I don't know. It is
So
Does it look like it was made by somebody that wasn't a musician craftsman, like somebody that their profession wasn't making musical instruments, but somebody that was like, I think I could figure this out.
make an investigation check, Patrice.
Patrice is not there.
Patrice is not there.
Oh, SOA. So, well, then why are you asking questions, Curtis?
No.
I just want to know what it looks like.
I'm not there.
I can ask what it looks like.
But I'm not going to answer.
Then don't answer me, but I want to ask.
Once, right, like SOA's gonna thank Sarc for this gift, and then once Sarc goes away, she's gonna kind of start. She's working on right. She's been with Elle and hearing the story about this apocalypse in the past, and she's been working on a song about it. So she's gonna start playing that.
Make a performance check, please.
Even though she's more of a,
A lutician?
lutician.
Can I make him roll an insight check?
Who?
SOA?
Sure. Do your DM thing, Matt or Nate.
Insight.
No, this is for the performance first.
Oh, wait, I thought I was rolling.
Okay, so whatever you thought you were rolling, that's what it was.
I thought I was rolling insight.
Okay.
So that was a 6.
It's a flu.
Okay.
I can't give you
It's a
any on
flu.
that one. I wanted to give you more, but I can't on that number.
Shit.
Damn.
Better. That's a 12 on performance.
It's a struggle, right? Because you are generally like you SOA understand the concepts of music theory, of all of these things, right? Because you are a performer. However, this isn't a unique and new instrument to you. So there are some flubs, but there is, for those of you who are around and listening from the crow's nest, you can hear this kind of hauntingly beautiful, sorrowful tune that, despite the kind of, like flubs that you hear of like an amateur musician, it is well composed, beautiful, sad, and full of despair.
Should have been one higher than it was. I forgot to update.
Doesn't change it.
Upgrades. But, whoops.
You've forgotten for a while. We're almost +5 proficiency.
Oh, is it overall level or is it?
It's overall.
Oh, okay.
All level for proficiency.
I think I missed it because I multi-class for the first time ever.
Fucking noob.
All right. Before we roll into Haven, is there anything anyone else would like to do?
I probably multi-class. finally munchkined into something because I needed to
I was
shoot.
just spending the little bit of free time he has between things outlining experiments, because there's a couple that he realized he wanted to do and probably shouldn't do on a flying ship
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of the ocean.
Do I bump into Sarc at all during the trip?
Sarc, how available are you to being bumped into?
He wouldn't spend only time down in the citrus grove. Like, he would probably spend a shift down there, maybe 3/4 of a shift. So he would probably come off the crow's nest, wander on the boat for half an hour, and then go spend 3/4 of a shift.
Roll a d6 and give me even and odd, Sid. Even or odd.
Odd.
You find him at some point. You stumble onto him.
Hey, Sarc, do you mind if I borrow the Sending Stone and ask Prosperin to look into something? I remember there being rumors of a fallen city in the desolation near where I am from, and would like to see if Prosperin's ever heard of anything and follow that lead a little bit. Do you have any opposition to that?
No, kind of mostly have it to carry it because they could. He'd pop the coin out and hand it to her.
Okay.
Be like, if you want to give it back, go ahead.
Okay.
Maybe one of the magic people would be better to carry it. I don't know.
So I will take it and I will reach out and try to get a hold of Prosperin through it.
I know.
Well, Sydney, so you send a message and then you're going to receive a message. And,
So I'll send Prosperin a message just outlining that Sarc saw a vision of where and when he was from, and it was of a fallen city. And I have heard rumors that there's a fallen city in the desolation, and am looking for information to corroborate. Sure. Yes. Yes.
corroborate.
Thank you. I was like, oh, I'm gonna try and
Yes.
repeat it.
Do that. To get more, just data backing that would be a route to follow up on.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No.
And because I was still anticipating John to join us, I only planned for so much today. So we are going to do like we have planned before. Is we're gonna wrap it up there. That's where we're going to end for the evening. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us in this adventure of cooperative storytelling and cracking of cocktails. Thank you for joining us on that really emotional journey that we're starting and getting ready to go on. I love when I can get these crazy things in. As always, if you want to interact with us in a more engaging way, please click the links below. Point. If you happen to be in the Grand Valley anytime during the weekend of September 21st and September 20th, please stop by the convention center. $5 unless you have a Mason County Library card, then it is free. So please come hang out with us. We really hope that we can see you all. And until next time, we all drink well.
Drink well.
Drink well.
Drink well.
Drink well.
Drink well.